Awesome.
Yep,
We
you're
are live.
live.
Awesome.
All right. So just to get everything started, um, so we get all acquainted here. My first time, everybody, meeting down south supernatural. This is Dead Serious Investigations, and this is actually my first time live since 2022. So I'm back. Charles is back. And we got down south supernatural here. And would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, sir. My name's Riley, and this is my dad, Greg. You can call him Father.
Little nickname that's been following us here lately. Yeah, Father. But my name's Greg. Appreciate you guys having us on too.
Yeah, of course. It's awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming on. I've been watching you guys do lives with Chastity, and I got so much respect for Chastity. And watching you guys, I admire your guys' passion, and that's what really driven me to like I got to meet these guys because they really remind me of my our passion in doing this because me and Charles, that's all we live and breathe the paranormal.
Oh
You know,
Yes,
yeah.
so
sir.
it's not just a hobby to us. It's something that we really enjoy doing just to also help other people understand it,
Yes,
and we
sir.
enjoy
That's
having that reaction with other people that to see, giving them that information, seeing their reaction of all of a sudden going from disbelief to being a full believer. It's really cool.
yeah.
And I'm definitely interested in knowing how you guys like got started, if you don't mind me asking.
No, sir. That's fine. It all started after my wreck. I got hit by a train in Kinston, North Carolina. Had a near death experience. I was in a coma for how many months?
About like 6 months.
I was in a coma for 6 months. I had I had to teach myself how to walk again and talk and breathe and all that.
That's awful.
Eat, swallow, everything. And when
Oh,
I woke up after my wreck and started trying to get around again, I was in a wheelchair. So
For several years.
for several years. So I basically lost all my people I thought were my friends because
oh, wow.
nobody really wanted nothing extra to do with me because I was a little more to put up with.
What?
And,
And he still is.
yeah,
I
Well,
and
guess the big thing is you had trouble finding something that you could do again that you enjoyed because most of his life revolved around sports before that, and he actually liked the paranormal for since he was a
oh,
little kid.
nice.
Watched all the shows on TV. Um, so, and this is one thing he can still do. Not he's paralyzed on one half of his body, but he can still walk now. He's gotten where he can walk again, so
yeah,
That's
he does
awesome.
well. And he's like you guys, like you said, his passion for the paranormal is off the chart, and passion for
Yeah.
helping other people,
Yes.
which is a good trait to have.
Yes. Um, I just got notified by Kathy. She's trying to get in. She's just getting, I guess, having some issues trying to get in. To contacting her right now. She's not going to have any issues getting in. Um, but that's um, that's amazing though that you survived that and like it's just usually when people go through some type of near death experience, usually have this kind of awakening into almost like a shift. A shift happens in their life where they go from living this normal life to now there's an awakening of knowing that there is this other side.
Yeah.
And
It's a consciousness awareness.
yes, it's
Yeah.
very driven. And I've almost died when my appendix exploded. And when I was a child, I was 7 years old. And after that, when I survived that, um, I was suffering from all sorts of crazy experiences. Um, and I've had paranormal experiences since some of my earliest memories. And I remember my first experience at 5. You've had a lot of
Oh,
early
yeah.
experiences. You should actually talk about some of these. Tell them
Oh.
about that.
Which one? The teddy bear?
Mm-hmm.
All
You
right.
got to let them know about that. I'm going to
Okay.
send her the invite.
When I was a youngster, I was sitting in the living room with everybody watching the after school cartoons, right? And to this day, I swear I looked up at my mom's teddy bear on the mantle because she had a teddy bear sitting where next to wine glasses she collected on a fireplace mantle. Man, I seen that teddy bear literally slap the wine glass to the floor from the mantle. And when I stood up and told everybody I seen the teddy bear slap it, guess who got in trouble for lying? Yep. You know, you get the interrogation by your uncle. They said, "So what did you see?" And the more I said it, the more they laughed at me. So yeah, I got in trouble for lying. And just like little things I've noticed after that incident in life, and I always got to check myself. 'Cause I'm like, well, I must be tripping, I must be tired or something. Nah, I've actually seen stuff. Even on the craziest one is the first time we went to Dyer Lane.
Yeah.
And Duran gave me the
Yeah.
EVP recorder, and this is my first investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I don't know. And so I'm just talking, and we actually got a voice capture that sent chills up my spine. And so I go, "Is anybody here? Anybody want to speak?" And voice goes, "Hi," and that was it.
Sure enough, we got a response like
Yeah.
almost immediately.
Yeah. And like, I've been places and seen things, even places I've worked,
Yeah.
strange occurrences, especially
Yes.
grocery stores are haunted also, just so people know.
Yep. Oh, most definitely. Actually, places where there's a lot of people think that would be the less active places because there's too much going on. There's so many people, but yet what people don't realize is that sometimes an airport could be more active than a graveyard because there's so much energy from all these people, all the emotions, the stress that could be happening in public. There's all the stuff going on, and they got our bodies are devices for just our energy. They feed off our emotions. So when you get a whole big building full of people, crazy busy people, you get lots of activity. Just a lot of people don't see it because there's too much going on. Why a lot of security guards, they'll catch all sorts of crazy stuff on camera.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Yes.
You watch a camera long enough, you will see something. If you're watching surveillance cameras, if you work somewhere, or if you at home, you got a ring or cameras around your house. Examine those carefully sometimes.
Yep.
You may see some stuff and be like, what? You just keep rewinding it and you still can't explain it.
So yeah, I mean, but everybody has their own aspect, in the paranormal. So my theories and opinions and facts are based on personal experiences knowledge and experiments that we've done on investigation. So it's just like when I just got a message from Chastity. Just a moment. Trying to get. Sorry, I'm trying to get Chastity in here.
So yeah, and I've noticed like I don't know if maybe you guys have noticed it too. It's been a lot of paranormal stuff,
Yeah,
just popping up everywhere, especially in the mainstream.
yeah.
We can't hardly hear you. I think we're gonna drop off and try a phone and see if it's louder.
Okay. Let's see.
You can hear him when he gets closer, can't you?
Yeah.
We're trying to read
Yeah.
lips. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
us.
you're too far away. Might have to
Okay.
get closer to the camera because once you come closer, I could hear you. But I can't
Okay.
stream. I'm sorry, but I tried to get in. It would not let me. And you know what? It's not surprising, guys, because every time me and Duran do something because of the interference, something always happens every time.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
can hear you good. We were actually thinking it was our little setup we had tonight.
You just got to
no.
get closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually,
Yeah, we can
with-
hear you a lot better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now. Yeah.
So I felt we were trying to read lips the first 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, when I do live, when I do them solo, I just box myself in. But and actually, when we done a live on Instagram back then, we basically had to speak really loud. I don't think I have proper mics for the phone. That's why I don't tend to do lives too often.
Yes,
I
sir.
do need that's why I got to get a proper build for like podcasting, and I haven't got that properly done.
We're working on it.
Yeah, it's in the
on
works. It's in the works. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
it is going to be established. We are planning on doing that. So the cat's out of
Yeah.
the bag there.
Yeah, I'm excited for y'all. And yeah, I mean, I'm probably about 1.5 feet away from my phone, even though it looks like I'm not. That's about how far I am
Yeah.
away from it right now. But so for it to pick up. But I will say this, I don't have the option to stream to my audience, which is fine. We can just go ahead, I guess, and keep rolling. I can just share out your link to my audience. We'll funnel everybody into you because it's probably something in your settings where you have to allow that. So we're already here and might as well just roll with it. I'm okay either way.
Yeah.
Since you're here, Chastity, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do for my viewers?
Yeah. So my name's Chastity, aka the Luminary Luna Beams. I specialize in spiritual guidance and the paranormal and intuitive development. Been on my journey for coming up on 5 years now, and I've helped people all around the world with paranormal and supernatural issues, as well as intuitive development. I try to do house calls as much as possible, or I do them remotely. So I have the ability to access the clairs through my divine connection. And yeah, I've been working with these guys down South Supernatural for the last like month and a half, and we do lives together. And me and Duran have known each other for a couple years now, I think. He was on my podcast because I have 2 YouTube channels currently. One's the Luminary Luna Beams, and then the other is Lights at Midnight, which is a psychic paranormal podcast I host with Emily, the fine art medium. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
she's
welcome.
great at what she does. I'm telling you, like, and just the way she explains all that so clear, like it, Chastity, what you do, I mean, you are very genuine, very professional at what you do, and that's one thing I do right off the bat admire that. Like, you're so professional.
Easy to listen to, also.
Yes.
Good, because I feel like I talk too much.
No, you're great. Our people love
She
you.
explains
Good.
a lot of this stuff. Like, if someone's new to it, Chastity knows how to explain this stuff, to interpret it, understand it a lot better.
Put it in the layman's terms.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, and that's part of the connection is like, and I think that's part of, all this is part of my life purpose, my spiritual purpose. We all have a life's, purpose, and I believe this is mine. That's why I'm getting ready to start teaching classes, and I have some other things I have not ready to share publicly yet, but it's going to make a world of difference. And my purpose is to continue connect with people just like y'all. Y'all are my favorite
Yeah.
fellas right here in the paranormal. Honestly,
Thanks.
y'all are
Awesome.
two favoriteest groups right now. Super genuine yourselves. That's why I feel strongly connected to y'all in that sense. And I'm excited to one day I get to meet the guys at Down South Paranormal this weekend. But
That's
see,
awesome.
we are on the
Supernatural.
East Coast, and Duran and is it Charles or Charles?
Yep, Charles, whatever,
Nice
whatever.
to meet you, Charles. But yeah, we're hopefully one day I'm manifesting a trip out west. So buckle up. I think we're all going to grow this year, and we need more genuine people in this industry. We need people that are willing to help other people. Everybody that you're seeing on this screen, we help people for free with severe paranormal issues.
Yeah.
We have our own jobs and things that we do on, and some of us like me, I have my own job with my psychic mediumship work, but as far as paranormal stuff, when people need help, any one of us, you call us, we'll help you. And,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of heart to do that. So, and I mean, I try to stay as humble as possible. And I think that's one of the main keys of staying humble in this keeps you protected. It keeps you grounded, and it keeps the blessings flowing, and giving without expectation has been probably the most important thing I've learned in my life doing this type of work and in general, because all the work that we put in, we tend to get back in some type of other abundance way, no matter where we are.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah.
and that also comes with people start help funding or donating, because when it comes to the law of correspondence, when you give and you keep giving, that comeback is positive. I mean, you start to get back, what when you give back, and that's why I really believe to give a lot more often, you know,
Yes,
Yeah.
and it really does pay off.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. And that's the thing about the paranormal is, we're all at different levels of our understanding. It's a lifelong journey of learning. We can't claim to have all the answers, period. But we learn through experiences. There's no school for this. There's no, I mean, there might be some type of cyclopedia out there, but like there's a need for more things like that, because 30 years ago, for anybody, so I don't put you on the spot, the older fellas that are here, y'all can probably say this. When y'all were growing up, this wasn't a thing, was it?
You didn't
Nope.
hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, unless you watch the movies, when
Yeah.
when me and Greg was younger, they had Poltergeist
Mm-hmm.
and all these movies, The Exorcist. That's the extent where it went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or yeah, you have people scaring you to play the D&D game.
Mm-hmm.
That's as paranormal as it went.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as you get older and you start researching things from the past or whatever have you, you start to run into that word everybody's afraid of, the occult word,
Mm-hmm.
because it's misunderstood, especially done by Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
They do create this demonetize the word occult, that it all has to do with evil. When you're talking about anything occulted, it's just another word for hidden.
Yeah.
So that it's a term that is easily used to manipulate minds of others that are more normie, to believe that they need to believe that this term means evil, and actually keeps them further away from truth.
well, yeah, the whole fact that we dabble in the paranormal, we seeking that knowledge, so to say, the higher purpose, the higher self, the higher consciousness, because we seek that. To some people, when we go and we tell people, "Oh yeah, we do paranormal research," um, some people that's super into what they believe in think that we dabbling in the devil's work or whatever.
Yep.
Or you get the one. Also, you guys are like no such. I like that show. You know, things like that. Yeah. So
And you know, that's another subject. Is you know, you got all these other paranormal shows, and everybody investigates in their own unique way. Um, some some may not agree on. Like I said, everybody kind of has their own perspective into the paranormal. Some, you
Yeah.
know, it may be in a negative path, but that's their timeline that they've chosen. So that's kind of something I don't really kind of want to intertwine my karma with. That's their path. So, but really, what it comes down to is that occult, talking about hidden. So that knowledge, when you start gaining that knowledge, you start to have access to certain things that your higher self has never allowed you access to, and you start to
Agree.
actually start to understand things a lot more than you never really would normally understand. You start to understand certain terminology, and you're like, man, all of a sudden I'm starting to understand it. It's because the information reached out to your subconscious to decode what you're actually reading, because you're open to actually learn more and look into it, being open minded basically. So I've studied the phenomenon and the occult for many years. It's not something I've learned overnight. I always tell people, do not take it all in at once, because you will overwhelm yourself and screw yourself up. And you could actually end up veering yourself in the wrong path, because you couldn't try to interpret it as quick as you can.
I don't
And
know
that's
what happened, buddy, but your microphone just started working.
oh,
Microphone just started working.
Absolutely, we hear you
Yeah.
great, all out of the blue.
oh,
That's so weird.
Check that out.
I'm telling you, did he tell y'all he has the haunted objects collection? I'm sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you, Duran, but I have to
Oh, no
make,
problem.
it's right behind him. Yeah. So that doll specifically right there is from one of my cases. I'll make this super short. It's from one of my cases that I worked last year, and it was terribly terrifying. And eventually I'm going to talk about it. That's what I have got to get together before I release mine and Duran's interview. But that some bitch right there is something else. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's already went its rounds with me. I'm sure it probably don't like me very much, but that object right there is dangerous.
Yeah.
is this the one that be putting spiders on people?
Yeah.
You're not wrong about that, because that did manifest a spider on me. And that was no joke.
Oh,
That's
wow.
definitely something. I mean, so a lot of it is going to be in detail on, if you watch Luminary Beams, Chastity's channel, when she posts it, there's going to be a lot more detail on that. But to summarize it, Charles is correct. This entity and the object involved in it has an ability to materialize physical creatures like insects.
Really?
And I have witnessed that and experienced that just the moment that I introduced myself to the doll when it arrived from Kentucky. And I've never experienced that ever before. That
Yeah.
was the first for me. But I know that that wasn't coincidental, because I'll tell you right now, it was a black widow, and black widows are docile creatures. They do not go to humans. They like damp, cold areas, and we are full of body heat. You know, we got heat. They're not going to be attracted to that. They're not wandering
Yeah.
spiders. It's a different, type of spider. Um, I know this a lot about spiders because my brother almost died from a black widow when he was 17. He got bit 3 times.
Hmm.
And so I grew up in a house with spiders, not where I currently live. I don't get spiders like that in this apartment. All of a sudden, a black widow appeared behind my ear.
Oh,
So,
God.
and it felt like a brush of hair hitting my face, and I was like this, and all of a sudden, I pull a string web off my cheek, and boop, black widow comes behind my ear.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
that's when he unboxed this doll, and I had them, so basically I had them super seal it. I had them use gloves. I had them put it in a tote, like in a box, seal it with holy oil, seal it with tape, and told them not touch it again, that I had somewhere for it to go. And they still have a haunted mirror, but I told them they would have to reach out to somebody else for that, because mirrors,
Yeah.
I don't want that mirror to get shattered in transit.
Yeah.
But the mirror is not as big of a problem as that doll was.
So we got an Annabelle doll. That's what we're dealing with.
Pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
Oh God.
So it's sealed up. It's locked away, and
Yeah,
it's
it's in a good
staring at us
home.
right now.
Yeah.
It's in a great home. It's got this very protective barrier over it. I got, really good, powerful stones with really good intention. It's got a lot of good energy surrounding it. A lot of love and light around this doll. This object is not a toy. Viewer discretion advised. Do not open yourself up too much to this object, to the viewers. But beautiful doll. But yeah, it's in a safe place right now. And Chastity, you made a good decision bringing it here, because I will take care of Angela. And as you can see, she's happy here. I know she is. She's in a comfortable spot. She's got good window view. She, she gets the attention that she needs over here, so she's happy. So the only things that I've gotten from Angela after the fact, that when she arrived, Angela is known for this feeling, and I get only this from one other object that I own. Pam is this
Yeah.
itchy, bug, tingly, hot feeling around my skin. And I've only felt that twice so far with Angela, when I first unboxed her, and earlier today when I was putting up the pentacle behind me as the backdrop for the wall. And I
Yeah.
started feeling that same feeling. And I was like, okay, Angela, I know you're there. You're giving me, it's signs of anxiety. So, and with things of demonic in nature, whether they're a demon or not a demon, this sign of instant anxiety is a red flag. It is a red flag of something demonic in nature.
Yep. And that's how you get that's how you get spiritually attacked. It generally comes in the form of an anxiety attack, unless you're having like something put its hands on you.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
And
Yeah.
was that doll sitting on
Yeah.
that table? Was the doll sitting on the table before you hung that up, you said?
So the doll before it was in the case, is that what you're asking?
No, was the doll there on that shelf before you hung the pentacle up?
Oh, the doll was already over here as I was hanging this. I was kind of like trying to carefully not disturb the object as I was draping it over here. And I started feeling that feeling as I was setting it up earlier today. And I was fine setting up everything else. And all of a sudden I just start feeling hot, like overcoming me, and I start feeling like bugs crawling all over my skin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I recognize that feeling.
Well, my experience prior to sending him the doll, even before I even knew I was working the case, I was visited by the entity that haunts the doll in between awake and asleep state. And I saw her perfectly standing beside of my bed, and she grabbed my knee, and I was like, not today. And it went about its business. Right. Well, then I found out the very next day, early, within hours, that the girl was going to go to the location. And, I was able to help clear that, but I still think that there's some things that the family's still working through. So yeah, it was pretty intense. And it looked like one of those common entities that you, down south, you may, recognize or have heard of. It was like a girl in a white ragged dress with that long, like the Grudge girl, with the long black hair, and it had long black fingernails like talons. and it
Yeah.
actually scratched my client and on the forehead, and it oozed black goo as it was healing. Also, since she's
Oh
on
my
that
God.
object, she suffered from a stroke, and part of her brain has turned black.
Oh my.
There is so
Wow.
much that I'll have to go back and listen to, and I've been given permission to share this story, but I'm trying to wait for my friend that went to the house, which she's having a difficult time right now, and I actually need to message her back and check on her because she's having a difficult time, and I tried to give her fair warning, like, and that's my concern is like with everything going on in her life, I think it's picked up on her a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out a way of what I can do to continue to help her too, which is something I've brought up to her, but we need to revisit again. And yeah, this is very dangerous, and Duran was the only person that I trust to handle an object of such. Haunted
Yeah.
objects are a completely different ball game than of just a haunting. I've formulated my own opinions, which I know Duran has like certain questions and stuff, and like how we can share our like our experiences. At some point we're all going to share our experiences, I think tonight. That's what he said, so I'll save the rest of it. But it's not all going to be about haunted objects, guys. I don't know exactly how far y'all are into it. I'm just speaking to the viewer in general. And I sent out my link. I'm hoping others will join. I sent it out everywhere, guys. If you don't mind, please hit the like button and give it a thumbs up. And if you don't mind, share it out to your group. We'd be happy to get some more
Yeah,
viewers in here, and we appreciate y'all being here.
yeah.
That
Thank you,
sounds
everyone,
awesome.
for taking the time to listen to our discussion.
Mm.
Thank you, Chastity, for all that information. And I mean, what a great way to bring up haunted objects. But got Angela right here in front of us.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Don't stare in
Yeah.
her eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
exactly.
Chastity,
I don't know
this
why I keep looking at
the
her.
entity you were talking about with the black fingernails. Do you know what that is?
That was a part of, so, and long story short, I think I think the things that haunt haunted objects are very, very low vibrational. I don't know if it's a certain type of, they come in all different forms, right? And I think they're more of along the lines of like projected thought forms from a larger, darker source. That's a nutshell of my personal opinion of
Yeah.
what haunted objects could be, because this is like it's almost like it when I tune into that type of energy, I'm not seeing one entity. I see it's like a black mist realm that it comes from, and that's as far as I've looked thus far.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like and then you got situations where people actually use um like a doll or an object as a conduit for something that they summon, or like conjuring, like a ritual.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Pam was used in the past, because we got aerial devils involved with Pam. And some of these are known to be jinn in Arabic culture.
Mm.
And it's something that you have to like literally know how to conjure up. That it's absolutely interesting. Like knowing that, learning all this stuff is just, it's now, for curious people out there, this stuff may be cool, really cool, but it's extremely dangerous to
Yeah.
collect these stuff. And
And some things don't mess around with. You don't know because you
Mhm.
get more than what you
we
bargained for.
for, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like those haunted museums and stuff, which I think are pretty cool for educational purposes of people out there that want to check out this stuff and learn about the history about it. And of course, with there being someone to guide people through to let them know, do not touch this stuff. Looking is fine and all that, and observing. It's when you start really handling the stuff and all those energetic signatures that are surrounding the object, that's all it takes, and all that stuff starts to attach to you, and then you start bringing that stuff home with you, and then you start
Yeah.
having problems, and then it turns into something else, and it's
Well, remember you said like if you around certain objects, you all of a sudden you get this horrible luck. everything. Like
Yeah.
it affects your karma.
Mm-hmm. So that's it tries to alter your karmic time wheel. It starts to uh, wheel you into these unfortunate happenings.
Which creates negative energy.
And if you actually look at the case, the real Exorcist case that movie's based on,
Mhm.
where that case really proved how these entities predicted the future. They understood the future, and they were
Yeah.
actually. You know what I'm talking about, right, Chastity?
The boy who went to St. Louis to get
Yep. So you already know what I'm talking about. So there's like situations like that as an example, that they can predict the future and be 100% about it. And
Yep.
it's kind of like up to someone that is really in tune with their guidance by their spirit guides to kind of veer them away from that unfortunate luck. Most of the time people will miss that, and they'll have to kind of face it to really fix it.
Yeah.
And I've encountered those problems. And my signs were, I saw 666 several times throughout the day, like they're trying to tell me, be careful what you do next, be careful what you do next, be careful, be careful, be careful. Seeing 666 wasn't really a sign that the demons are around me. It was a sign from my guys, be careful, do not get on that road, do not get on that road, do not get on that road. And that's basically what they're trying to tell me. And then all of a sudden, bam, I get in a car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm sorry that happened. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of things. It could have been the DAW, particularly, or one of the locations you were investigating, because I know
Yeah.
we talked about that.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, down south, have y'all ever experienced any haunted objects yet?
Not any haunted objects yet. I hadn't.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy world. That's a whole nother topic, and I'm glad y'all are here, and I'm glad you were able to stay up, Greg, a little bit later too, because it's a fascinating subject, and it's something that when you're dealing with a haunted object, it changes the situation on how you combat that haunting as well when you go to somebody's house too. Like a lot of times there's certain characteristics that haunted objects give off if they're and it's a lot of times it's not 100% like poltergeist activity, but it is. You'll have tons of energetic interferences when you're dealing with a haunted object, or you'll have people like he's been saying, like Duran's been saying, how it will you'll have a lot of mood shifts and stuff too. And I kind of went blank, but I know Duran can probably help me with this. Like, and to the mainly for the viewers, like if you have something that feels weird, you can kind of tell. Also,
Yeah.
people get a certain bond. If there's an attachment going on, I'm seeing like infinity sign. There's like this energetic attachment between the object and the person that it's affecting the
Yeah.
most. They cause accidents, like he was saying, like it's a lot. Haunted objects, no joke, because my deal when I met Annabelle the doll, I've shared that on Lights at Midnight, but I'm definitely going to share that on my channel as well. Probably, excuse me, probably during the haunted object series I'm going to be doing, and it's crazy. They are very dangerous. They're more dangerous than dealing, in my opinion, than dealing with somebody that has an attachment,
Wow.
because they
Yeah.
just come out of left field and they hit you like out of nowhere.
And
Wow.
that's 100% fact. I feel like what you just said, because with objects, with an entity's intention to use the object as a vessel is not to possess the object, it is to possess the living. They
Yep.
want, they ultimately want to, that is their agenda. It is, they use the object to manipulate others, especially an innocent doll to a child, that they attract the child to get the child closer to it, to want to trust it. And then to the child, it's just another child to them. And the next thing you know, they start doing, getting them into trouble. And then the child blames, oh, it's the spirit, so and so that made me do it. And they start to, their attitudes start to change. And uh-oh, the camera went out. Oh, there you are. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thought
I
you
had to
had timed
reposition.
out.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. So with the child's presence, it's very dangerous with child involved, with them having an object that could have a spirit attachment to it, because ultimately the child's innocence is what they're really drawn to. And I would like
Yeah.
to eventually, I probably won't have time to really discuss it tonight, but on another live, which I know I'm going to end up wanting to collab with everyone here tonight, another time on this subject, I want to get into adrenochrome at some point. I don't know if you guys are really educated on adrenochrome, what that is.
What
You
you
know,
say?
I've heard of it. Can you give me the definition and I can tell you yes or no?
Yeah, so all of us, even including animals, all have a fear gland, adrenal gland, and that
Hmm.
adrenal gland, when you're in a high state of fear or trauma, your adrenal gland releases this compound. It's called adrenochrome,
Mhm.
and spirits like demons or negative extraterrestrials, like negative ET groups, are very attracted
It's
to
a
this.
drug.
It's a drug to them, and
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
it gains
That
them a lot more power against the individual. So the more fear you have of these entities, the more power and leverage they have on you. So you're
that
basically feeding it food.
that's how a negative entity, or basically the Hollywood word of a demon. That's how they get their power
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
off a living human.
that makes
They
sense.
they drain you.
oh yeah,
Well, yeah, that if you think about it, when uh, a rabbi goes and makes food that's kosher, like they have to be there to bless animals, before they're slaughtered because of that situation.
yeah,
Because when animals are in the slaughterhouses or done improper, they produce that fear,
yes,
and so when you eat that food, you're eating that fear.
yep, yeah.
So it's something that's been understood. It's just been kind of not put in representation as we would say adrenochrome,
Yeah,
because it's been around since biblical times.
exactly. And
Yeah.
even
Right.
a simple little quick prayer to your food sometimes is all you need to do to make it
that's what
taste
people
better
say,
sometimes, because yeah, exactly, you bless your food. You just like, say, even if it's just a few words, and you don't have to speak it out loud, because sometimes some of these animals that may have died in a brutal manner, and that fear, like he's saying, that fear energy surrounding that meat, uh also make it taste bad.
That's true. And you know what? I'm sitting here. I've been trying to find ways to explain how to people, like nursing homes, hospitals, places of great like trauma and fear. And I always talk about like when we go through these traumatic things or we're in a state of depression or living in the state of fear, how we literally shed energy. So it has, like you're saying, it has something to do with that. And spirit showing me like, it's almost showing me like at an atomic level how we are, it's working with the energy and the particles and stuff, and we're literally shedding particles when we're in this fight or flight mode, because what that does is trigger fight or flight, right? So when
Right.
we're in fight or flight, and some people live their lives that way because they have anxiety, and that's how you bring stuff to you. So that would
Yeah,
be a good way to explain how we shed energy, and that's how you get residual hauntings and residual things. Or you're having, and like sometimes just a simple clearing of your own house and your own space, I highly recommend for people to do that on a routine basis. And it doesn't have to be, if you're not having any issues, like once every 3 months, once every 6 months, do it. But if you're a person that's had like a lot of trauma, a lot of things that's kind of went on, your best bet is to do like a little ritual to clear it yourself. People do not realize the power they have. It's like, I'm sure I had a client this weekend. I'm not going to give out any details, but I do want to share one thing. She's going through a haunting, and she just, I mean, she has her own spiritual journey and stuff, but I was just so amazed to hear her say that she went and stared at the sunset. That's one of the main things that makes her happy, to see the sunset. And she just gave it all, like all the stuff, all the things that were holding her back, and pretty much allowing this excuse me, this thing to attach to her. She gave it basically to God and to that sunset, saying, this is going to light up all these dark corners. I give it away. This thing has been causing her headaches and she's been sick.
Yeah.
And she literally, after that, ended up, now she's had surgeries and stuff on her sinuses, right? But this is so random and so strange. I personally think that it had to do with the attachment part of this, because there was, I say was because after she did that, not long after, she started to have like a nosebleed. She's works in healthcare, so she's seen a lot of different things, and it turns into something totally different, she said, than a nosebleed. It was a bunch of gook, a bunch of pain, all of it. That stuff literally drained out of her, and people don't understand these attachments can actually have physical issues with.
Physical effect.
Absolutely, like infections, and like it can cause you to be sick. And she hasn't had a headache since me and her had our session, and things are starting to calm down. I did do a little bit of candle work for her, but just giving people validation. And I'm sure both sets of y'all know, like, just the validation and the comfort of somebody coming to you and you being able to tell them, I can relate. I can, we might
Yeah.
not be able to get everything gone right now. Like for me, I might not be able to help you. I'm remotely, like I can't make it just disappear always, but we
Yeah.
can work together to figure this out. And that really just changes the energy, and they quit shedding all that icky mucky energy, and then the thing can't feed anymore. That's the
Yep.
most important thing.
Just
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would
it's
like to, down
Yeah.
south, how did your last clearing go?
oh it went good. So far we hadn't gotten any word back that anything's still being irritating or negative. So
No news
everything,
is good news.
That's
yeah,
Right.
kind of how we're looking at it. We spoke to the homeowner a couple of times, and so far everything's good. But it wasn't really a haunting or anything like that. It was just as soon as him and his family stepped into this home, everything got negative.
yeah,
They got in a bad mood. They started hearing some things. These people never fussed. They fussed. Everything was just negative in the home. So, so far, so good. And we told them, hey, we'll come back and do it again if we
Yeah.
have to. But it definitely
Motivation.
it helped.
I admire that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you guys
That's
got a lot of
awesome to hear.
motivation. Yeah. That reminds me of the Marysville house.
Yes.
That you step in there and you just feel that rage energy.
That
when people
experience
start
was
walking
something else.
Yeah.
And you would think, okay, Marysville out here in Northern California is, it ain't like the bee's knees that everybody's dying to go there. It's just a little rural town, very small. It's just a couple of streets, and you can miss that whole place.
Mhm.
So we went to the house and we were investigating, and I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Well, I guess to summarize it, we're gonna probably try to jump into that subject later on, but I'm gonna summarize as best to you right now about how to describe that place. And basically, the place makes you feel several emotions simultaneously, and they're all not good. Yeah, all not good. The second you step into specific zones in the house, you start to feel like you're too tall. Like you start to feel very high up, but you're not, and you start to feel like you get brought down, and kind of like a not a roller coaster, but some type of a carnival ride.
Yeah, like when you're a kid and you're walking across the little bridge at the playground, you go up, then you go down, then you go up.
yeah,
Like you're walking on steps that are like this, like not stairs, but steps like this, and you got to step up, step down, step up, step down, and you're walking regular. And I would step in a zone, and I'd be like, Charles, do you feel different right here? And he steps right over there and immediately feels vertigo. And that's a
Yeah.
very common feeling and this type of phenomenon, especially if you're experiencing. That was actually the first time I think we felt a portal. We literally
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
like
always like portal type energy because you feel like I
Yeah.
feel either vertigo or I'm sinking through the floor.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
man,
literally
we've
right
been in
there.
places where I
Yeah,
felt like about an inch tall.
Yeah,
yeah.
you just
See,
feel it.
yeah, where you feel that like inch taller, where you're like you just feel a little different.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
also that place, I know for a fact, the Marysville location, definitely portals there. To me, they looked black and they were like different. There was something to do with the attic. It was going up in the attic and like hiding, but it was over somebody's bed from what I remember. And then the
Yeah.
location that y'all, I don't know if I can say it, I'm pointing here, I'm trying to do here, but the location y'all went to, the basement with where that, I saw that brick, it's the mirror room, the basement y'all go to. It's
Granger.
like, yeah, it's there's a portal right there around that brick pillar. From what Halo was saying, like portal energy is definitely different energy, and it generally I always feel it kind of in the floor, but portals can also be vertical or horizontal. They're kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on how you want to look at it or how we can explain it from our human experience, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like that portal location, the primary portal of that place that they investigated in the basement is parallel to the situation at the Marysville house, because it being complete opposites in the attic, and then there's the where they investigate it's in the basement. It's very ironic.
That is, isn't it? And I'm developing a theory here. We're humans, we create, we manifest things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we can create all kinds of things and fears, but I'm starting to realize that there's a lot more thought forms. I mean, this is not new news or anything, but there's a lot more thought form type entities than there is, in my opinion, demonic stuff. Like, of course,
Yeah.
there's a lot of demonic stuff. Of course, there's a lot of elemental stuff, but a lot of stuff that humans tend to deal with is either a earthbound spirit that's descended and nasty, or thought form type energy. And the truly, there are lower level demonics. Even a descended human spirit can start to become animalistic and become demonized, right? And I
Yeah.
would put them in the level of like descended human spirit, low level demonic. But then we also have like the other real big time demonic stuff, and that does occur. But I think that occurs at a larger level, and that's just a blanket statement. But I'm starting, the more investigating and stuff that I do, I'm starting to see how uncommon but still common truly demonic hauntings are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Uh, Now, to really kick some of the topics I got notes on, I'd like to ask some of us some of our past personal paranormal experiences. So basically, like the furthest back memory of a personal paranormal experience. And uh, Charles was talking about his.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you want to bring that up for Chastity to hear real quick.
I was telling the fellas that one of the earliest ones I can remember was as a kid, my mom, she had a teddy bear posted on top of her mantle at the fireplace. And she collected wine glasses, so she set them around it. I've seen this teddy bear knock that wine glass over. And when I told my mom and everybody I seen the teddy bear do it, I got in trouble a lot. So
Right.
so yeah, and then my uncles didn't make it better because they kept interrogating me. So what'd you see? And I told them again, and they all laughed at me. So
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I saw a woman's energy. I saw an older woman's energy maybe in the house. And I don't know if a grandmother or a great grandmother had passed away. And I'm not saying she's the one that did the teddy bear thing. But as soon as you started telling me the story, I got like an older woman, maybe a grandmother energy that was in the house. But almost at the same time, it's somebody, it was a ghost. It wasn't anything super crazy, but I'm assuming you had a lot more paranormal experiences since then, right? That's how you got interested?
yeah, well, as far as I can remember back, I've always had strange things, and I always chalk it up to, nah, You know? And then as I got older, the experience became more extreme.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're highly sensitive. You're sensitive. You're kind of come from a line of intuitive people, is what my spirit guides are telling me. And specifically, this grandmother, I think it's your grandmother or your great grandmother.
Great
I want to
grandmother.
say mother's side too, but I'm not 100% sure. But you have her energy around you, and I don't know. They were there's somebody in your family that was a woman that was very soulful. Like she had a lot of soul. She had a lot of faith,
Yep.
and they use discernment in your family, big time. You had intuitives in your family. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm getting. And
Oh,
I
you're
think,
right. 100%.
yeah,
100% spot on.
yeah. I mean, it was
'Cause,
like
yeah,
they're
mom,
showing me
grandma.
like the fans in church, like they're going whether it's hot, whether it's cold, or whatever their spiritual practices were. I don't know, but that's what spirit's coming through for me. They would show up. They were praying women, and they had a
Yeah.
lot of discernment. And having that type of discernment and having that type of energy, when you possess that type of energy, we all have it. Everybody sitting in front of you guys watching right now, we all are sensitive to energy, and so are you guys. We all perceive energy in some way, shape, or form. But we all have had paranormal experiences, and it's all because, in my opinion, we were a little more sensitive than others at times because it's part of our life's purpose.
Hmm. Yeah, my family hails from New Orleans, Louisiana.
I was wondering why you were in California, because the type of feeling I was getting was not in Cali. It was definitely more like a southern feel. So that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
So, uh, Riley, your your most memorable, uh, the furthest that you could remember paranormal experience.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. I'll just go ahead and tell you my first ever case.
Yeah.
We had, we had just got business cards made,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of obsessed with how good they looked.
Oh, I
So
bet.
I took a picture of them and put them on Facebook and put a little advertisement under it
Mm-hmm.
mentioning to call my number or my partner's numbers if you were experiencing any kind of strange phenomenon
Yeah.
or spirit like activity. And literally that afternoon, a lady called me and we set up a date that weekend to go over to her house. And I went over there with my partner at the time, and we got there. We were getting set up, and well, let me rewind a little bit. We got lost,
Mm-hmm.
but we got in the middle between like two houses, and we didn't know which one to turn into, and we turned into the end of one of the driveways
Mm-hmm.
and pulled up like 10 to 15 foot from the house. And me and my partner both looked at each other, and at the snap of a finger, me and him both got the most sickening feeling in our stomachs that is beyond imaginable.
Oh man.
And then walked in there.
Yeah, that's what that sounds like.
That's the first real case.
That was the
Yeah.
first time I ever went to do anything ghost hunting related.
So dang, that thing, and it's probably that, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's that just that rot in your gut, like you just feel like
Oh,
uh like you're gonna fold.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like
I
it
I know.
was to the point where I was like, me and my partner's stomachs were both killing us. And then I look at him and he busts out crying.
Damn.
And then I bust out crying, and I don't even cry no more after my wreck.
Right.
So he realized pretty quick he was at the right house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after we
Wow.
got ourselves together, we walk in and start getting a few pieces of equipment, or we walk in and talk to the family about, where's a good hot spot y'all are noticing a lot of activity at. And the mom told me possibly the back bedroom where our daughter used to stay. So I go back there and I'm looking around. And as I'm looking around, my other partner's walking around in the house with a spirit box, trying to find something to communicate with. And I have a little spirit box as well with me in that back bedroom. And I said, well, since he's doing his own thing, I'm going to do my own thing back here. So I sit on the bed in the back bedroom and I turn the spirit box on. And as I'm sitting on the bed, I look over on the wall and I notice there's a closet door. And I opened the closet door just being curious. I don't know why or what told me to open it, but I opened it, and when I opened the door, there was a cabinet in the bottom of the closet, or a little shelf in the bottom of the closet. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna lay that spirit box right there, and then I'm gonna sit back on the bed and try to communicate with something. So the bed's only like 5 foot away from the closet, so I sit back down on the bed, and before my before I could even get good and sitting down comfortably, next thing I know, I've never in my life, I don't know how to describe it, but if you ever could imagine the most guttural growl and bark that you've ever heard in your life, that's what I heard through that spirit box.
Wow.
So, something that you would call an earthly spirit, like it had a human body.
It wasn't words. It was just it literally sounded like a hellish bark.
Yeah. And when you heard that growl, did you feel it in your gut?
I could feel it all over. I mean, every damn hair on my body stood up.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've heard with my own ears getting growled at right in front of me in pitch black when I came home a long time ago. This was years ago, and it's pitch black, and all of a sudden I just hear this like that right in front of me.
Whoa.
And I felt it in my bones, in my stomach. I felt it everywhere. Like it was just like it was static. The vibration of the growl, like it was just so intense. Like I could feel the growl more than that I hear it. I felt like.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what you're talking about, though. That's why I mentioned that if you felt that. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, though.
Yeah.
It's pretty disturbing experience right there. Feel for 'em on
Yeah.
that.
So after I get myself together from just hearing this, I walk out to where the lady's at, and I say, "Does the neighbor beside you have dogs?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Okay, I just wanted to make sure." And next thing I know, here comes my buddy walking up to me, hollering at me, telling me that he's got some really negative communication going on in the other room where the wife sleeps. And
Once you sum it up as to after what, maybe 3 trips to this home, 2 more after this bad one, you come to find out in that same closet that he set his spirit box in, on the same shelving system in the closet, happened to be books of witchcraft that the lady's daughter had been working with for how long?
ever since she was a kid.
Yeah, and you know,
Wow.
all those, none of that come out
See?
when they invited him over. It was almost, I really to this day feel like they set him up.
That's messed up.
I really do.
Yeah,
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, they set me up. They wanted to break me in, all right.
They did.
Yeah.
So
I kind of feel
I
like
don't
he
like
had
people like that.
hell no.
That makes me angry. But I'm all love and light and everything nice when I'm sage and hood. And I can't say the rest on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, that's awful. I'm so sorry. They broke you in all right. And as you were talking before you even said closet, I know you've told me this story, but I did not remember. I drew like a little closet with like a extending hallway. There was a portal in that closet for sure. And all I could see, because like I'm dissociating while you're talking, all I saw was like these little I'm trying to do it, these fingers, but they were green and they were long and they were like coming out of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were.
Wow.
Yeah.
The part is
That
how
was
you
bye-bye.
do witchcraft though.
Yeah, that's
You know,
crazy.
what was,
It was
her kid
terrible.
on witchcraft in the closet.
She had like she must have had like her,
I think
and she
was
wasn't
hiding her
doing any
stuff
type
there.
of good witchcraft either, because there is a difference between light and dark witchcraft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Witchcraft is just intentions with herbs and candles and stuff. And I mean, it's a lot more. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know there's a lot of people that practice, but I'm just going to sum it up. It's like your intention with objects, metaphysical products, and your daily routine. It's a practice. And however you practice, but people that mess with stuff, you know, and they want to go to the dark side of stuff, it really messes up their life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Greg, you wasn't there for that one, was you?
No, and you know, we've talked about paranormal stuff for years and years. This is probably going on 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When that situation happened, but I never believed in any supernatural activity, and really, honestly, spirits too, because I'm kind of you can tell me all day, but I'm just show me. I want to see. Okay, I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
So he started bringing me some video home and some EVPs and different things he was hearing, and I was like, man, he's kind of like me. We don't know a lot about technology, and so I know he's not doctoring any of this stuff up. So it just intrigued me enough I said, you know what, you got a new partner. So you know, it's something we can do together, and I've actually really, I can't believe I'm saying it, I enjoy it now. But
That's
you know,
awesome.
you kind of develop a passion for it, and really to help people, and also try to figure it out. You know, there's so much we don't know about what's going on around us, and some of that can be good. We are protected, but it just makes you want to learn more and learn more. Like you can't get enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
Quest for knowledge. Exactly. That's what makes it interesting, fun, informative, and just all around cool. Is that you're learning knowledge that's been lost to us through our own civilization and building this and that, and you get in a rat race. We got to pay rent, bills, and everything else, take care of kids and whatnot. So all this gets lost in translation. So now when you get to the point, you start discovering this stuff. And like Greg said, you know, Riley ain't no super tech genius, so he's making like these little Hollywood production. No, he showed him the raw footage.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And like even with us, with like me and Duran, we worked at the same place, right? So that's where we met at. And I come walking through one day, and he asked me, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, let's talk." And here we are.
Yep. That's it right there.
Yeah. So, and since then we've been on these these wild, crazy little adventures
Mhm.
and everything else. And
Yeah.
me myself, I'm developing my own extrasensory
Mhm.
based off of my past and growing every day.
Mhm.
Every day, I'm trying to learn something new and just expand my consciousness to what's out there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And just like we were discussing earlier, uh, like basically, as just a paranormal investigator, not just like studying the occult, like let's completely uh block that real quick. Let's just say you're a paranormal investigator, you're not studying the occult, even going out there as a paranormal investigator and you're tapping into the other side, you're receiving information when you're out there. And that's why it's important with the intention while you're out there, because based on your intention is what type of information that you're going to be taking it in and how you're going to perceive it when you're going out there. Because you could take things in a very egotistical way, and that those entities they're going to thrive on that, and that's how
Yeah.
they can send you and direct you on the wrong path every time you're investigating, and eventually you get yourself caught up in a really bad attachment.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
be in a bad place.
Yeah. So, the more investigations that we've done, the more we've humbled ourselves because we learn from each one. And,
Yeah.
True.
and as much knowledge that I have in this, it's I learn new stuff every day. Charles learns new stuff every day. Chastity learns new stuff every day. Uh, Several people I know that's done this stuff for years learn new stuff every day. No, it's the knowledge is infinite, and there's so much to learn, and that's what we love that because uh, that there's no end to the learning, that there's so much more, and we learn something new every day. It's exciting,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like when you go on an investigation
Mhm.
and the excitement you get when you hear that first voice capture,
Mhm.
and you're like, what? And you got to know that curiosity kicks in because if you go in without the fear, if you go in curiosity, you're going to discover a whole lot more because when you have fear, it puts those boundaries in the way because you're afraid to move forward. But when you go in with the whole mindset of curiosity, oh, everything is your oyster right there. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
that fear, we've noticed the fear part of it will get you in
yeah.
situations that you don't have enough experience to be in. So we've kind of started doing a little. It's so easy to be scared
Oh, yeah.
in certain places you go in, but we are getting better as just being so open minded that hey, you can't do nothing to me.
Mhm.
We're here to learn, and we're going to learn tonight. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but try not to be susceptible of.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. We said it last night. We really, at all the places we go, and we go a lot. We really, we do go a lot. Um, Probably, I don't know, at least 80% is all good places. We talked about it last night. We don't deal with a lot of negativity, but when we do, it seems to be bad. It's either good communication or terrible. Wouldn't you say? It's
Yeah.
never any in between. It's
Yeah.
good. There is a good and a bad. You
Yeah.
know, I really feel
And,
that
Yeah.
way.
you
From
I,
know, to connect about that, I know exactly what you mean because there's a lot of spirits out there, and, you know, a lot of people perceive it to be demonic automatically because the spirits aren't being friendly.
right,
And really, what it is even with an earthbound spirit that is at a certain space, like say a home or a graveyard or anywhere, when you
yeah.
step into their space, you're invading their space. You're an intruder there.
exactly.
They don't know who you are and they look at you differently.
Mhm.
So they feel intruded, and which affects them in a territorial way. Not that they're an awful spirit, it's they feel intruded. And
Yeah.
like if someone's renovating or altering their a house, you're altering their space, and they're going to react to it.
Sure.
Yeah. That actually brings up a good point.
Mm,
You know, about a month or two ago, in my mom's coffee shop that she owns, we were get we were getting some negative looks at us about the down south emblem
Yeah,
because it's got the Aquarian star in it,
yeah.
like that right there. Like, how do I need to get it where you can see it?
You can't
Yeah.
see it on this little tiny computer here.
Gee, where's the camera at on this thing?
It's right there. Let's see.
You see that,
Yeah, it's he gets it. He's almost got one on his wall behind him right there.
Yeah, it's a half of it.
Yeah, I pointed, and you raise a good point bringing that up because it does get demonetized publicly, because it's people just focus on the bad rep of it because it can be used for awful reasons, but it's not, its purpose isn't for that. And
Yeah.
people will, they'll use it to do a lot of dark work. And
Wasn't King Solomon was the originator of that?
yeah, King Solomon. See, if you study King Solomon, he has done so much work with knowledge of these symbolic seals. And these seals that they have, like what I have around my neck, this pendant that I have, it probably would be too unclear for the camera, but I'll try to show you. This has it's a pentagram with Solomon protection seal, and there's like several seals. I also have a kind of a little poster. It's too small for the camera probably, but this I do have it posted on my Instagram channel, and it gives you basically the most detailed description and symbolic message of what that symbol represents, and all like several different types of protection seals, versions of it. But
Yeah.
the particular one that I have, the Solomon protection seal, protects me from a lot of the most heinous and malice ancient entities, and protects me
Yeah.
from black magic and a lot of other things that are bad intent to me. So on top of the star protecting me from generally uh, spirits that have a bad intent towards me or demonic in nature. So
Yeah.
there's several protective properties to that, plus that Solomon protection seal. He knew a lot of secrets that no one knew, and that's how. I don't want to get too far into it because it's. I could go on and on about
You're
King
fine with
Solomon.
that, yeah.
When you get deep into demonology, you start to learn about King Solomon,
Yeah.
and you really,
I know.
and so I got a lot of like Key of Solomon books and Dictionary of Demons and all that kind of stuff. And you start to learn about that, you know, people look at, like say people biblically, they'll look at devils, that there's one devil. And even some perceive Satan and Lucifer as the same entity, and they're not. And actually, as a matter of fact, there are many, many devils, thousands or maybe even millions of devils. There are aerial devils. Um, there's so many. I mean, it's vast. It's legions and legions of all these types of entities. There's demons that aren't documented. There's thought-created demons. I mean, it goes on and on. And most of the thought-created aren't even demons. They, like what Chastity was mentioning. A lot of the thought-formed created entities are really demons. They're manifestations created, and they start to create their own consciousness. And it gets
Typo.
pretty far out there. But when you talk about King Solomon, this guy knew a secret of binding these things to objects. And one of his rings was this. It's obviously not his, but it's replicated, and it's this is a silver Solomon protection seal ring. So it's got the pentacle on it.
Yeah.
And he wore it on his left hand, on his middle finger, and he used this to bind and control these types of entities. And this is the perfect protection for me on my part, being a haunted doll collector, because I
Yeah.
have to deal with these types of beings a lot, and some of them, in rare cases, I have a few objects that have some things that are very ancient and that people would far never understand how to deal with them.
Yeah.
So you are familiar
Um,
with King
it,
Solomon?
it's so
Not.
complicated. It's really hard to get into, and
Read
it
up
takes
on
a
that.
certain state of consciousness to really understand it. So I kind of jumped myself back and forth from the 3D and uh, the 5D information. So it's really, when you try to get into this stuff, you really have to have a certain state of consciousness to be able to handle the information, because it's very overwhelming, and it's also dangerous studying the stuff sometimes, because people can get obsessed with demonology.
Yeah.
Then they start to attract and manifest all those entities into their life.
Yeah.
They start to believe that those entities will protect them and give them secrets, and they want them, like they learn about this devil. If you summon him, he'll tell you the deepest secrets of the earth and tell you where hidden treasures are. And people want to start to experiment by summoning that and learning that information themselves.
Organic.
Yes, that too. It's a very dangerous thing. That's what I was saying. A certain state of consciousness to be able to handle some of the information. But that's why I always tell people, take this information a grain of salt at a time. And I don't expect anybody to really take in all the information I say at once, but watch it little bit by little bit, here and there. Take it as comfortably as you want. And that information, like all it takes is one word to spark, and that next thing you know, that person all of a sudden starts making sense of a lot of stuff, and they're like, "Holy moly, that guy just said something that really made a lot of sense to me," and now everything's starting to click. And it just takes a little time. And like I said, it's just when you start really getting that certain state of consciousness, it comes with as you learn, uh, you grow, in the field. And
You expand that your spiritual consciousness.
yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
And Duran, do you want to take questions as they come in, or do you want to wait till the end?
Oh, I was gonna actually bring that up, Chastity. Thank you for bringing that up. I was gonna wait till the end if that's fine with you.
Yeah, I
Because
told people we were going to wait till the end.
okay,
Tracking time right now for
yeah,
me, I've got about 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes left. I just wanted to get asked because I got one or two people in here that's asked questions because I'm keeping up with the chat while y'all are chatting too.
okay. Well, in that case, thank you for letting me know that.
Sure.
I would like to, yeah, of course. Um, I'd like to jump into a topic real quick, jumping straight into this. This is something I've been waiting to bring up. The connections with spirits, demons, EBE, which stands for extraterrestrial biological entity, for people that don't know the term EBE, um, cryptids, etc. So there's a huge connection, with all those types of beings, these interdimensional beings, and we're looking at a multiverse um, aspect. So there's these an infinite amount of realities that no one could understand every reality, because there's too many. And so we may experience and see these strange creatures emerge here on our plane of existence that we don't know how to perceive what we're seeing, like say chupacabra or something. This chupacabra is probably an interdimensional being, not really something that is normal to our reality, and has interdimensional abilities of all of a sudden disappearing, because people ask, why haven't we captured one? Why can't we see one? Why isn't we can't get a clear shot? Because this thing is more paranormal. It's more interdimensional. Like it's not uh, it's not terrestrial to our reality. So it
Yeah.
has conscious abilities that we don't understand. And Bigfoot, there's a lot of cryptids out there. I'm sure you guys got a lot of cryptid sightings your way too.
We
Um,
do.
yeah, there's a huge connection with all these things.
Yeah, especially like in your guys' area. Oh, I watch stuff all the time about sightings. Um, even all the way far north as like the Detroit, the Dog Man out there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of things. We have our Bigfoots here and all that, all that different type of stuff. And I can agree with that. Do I think there may be like an animal that, they haven't found? Of course, the Appalachian Mountains is huge. It's actually a hot spot for topic right now. I have a project planned at some point, maybe in 2025. I really haven't talked about, but it's coming. So Appalachia has a lot of good history, a lot of good cryptids, and some of these things too, like these thought forms. It's a possibility that some of these cryptids are thought forms that have been brought over from ancient lore from overseas and the native people that were here, because you have the Aztecs and the Mayans and stuff that moved up this way with the volcanic eruptions that happened there. Like
Yeah.
one of my best friends is Mayan, and he speaks like ancient. He has three languages: his ancient native Mayan language, Spanish, and English. And he's fluent with Spanish and English, and he still knows quite a bit of his home's language. We're taught in high school that the Mayan people and the Aztec people, don't exist anymore, and that's totally not true, because he actually went to school with me and he speaks that language. And these folks, in terms of like their spiritual practices and their witchcraft is really big in that, in that culture.
Yeah.
And they bring these traditions. I have not the most like cryptidy type thought form magical things that have been created through this type of magic. You will hear some of the craziest stuff with like Hispanic culture magic, and it's all about the large owls, it's all about the chupacabra, all that kind of stuff. So not only could they be interdimensional beings, they can also be magical beings that were created by for a magical purpose, because the people in his culture, in his magic, they would transform into animals. And I have actually, I know this is wild, this is something I'll talk about one day, because so many topics, so little time, right? But I've actually seen this intuitively through some of the things that I've heard. And these, whatever type of ancient knowledge, ancient magic, like they never had that taken away from them like we did. Okay. They
Yeah.
still have that in their culture. And like these people would, I don't know how they would do it, but they would like shapeshift. So you have like, what's it called? I know what it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue. A lot of people don't like to talk skinwalker, basically.
Yeah.
I
There's
just
this
whispered that to him.
saying that.
Yeah, I said Skinwalker is another example right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And that's in that culture. And then you're getting into the thing of like thought form territory too. And this isn't something I've really like correlated or thought about. I think Spirit just wanted me to say this and like what you're saying. So when you get into the cryptids, yes, I think there's interdimensional beings. Do I think there's mermaids? Yes. Do I think they live in our ocean? It's a possibility. We've not, seen the whole ocean. Is it possible? Yes. But do I think that sometimes the veil gets thinner and thinner? Yes. I think the veil can be thinned based on different on earthquakes, on volcanic eruptions. It's not just humans, like the earth itself. That's when you get in the conversation between what's the difference between a portal and a vortex. Like
Yeah.
that's when you get into that type of stuff. So there has to be some type of portal-y, vortex-y. It's like those stories you hear about walking through the woods, let's just say Appalachia, and you get into this area that's really weird. It's almost like being slipped back in time, and you have these like portally, vortexy type places.
Yeah.
And one of those places is that road. What's it called? I know it starts with a D. No, the road y'all took your pictures on.
Dyer Lane, right?
Dye Lane. Yeah, like that's one of them places where like there's these portals and stuff. And I know down south, I know Greg, y'all ain't much into the cryptids and stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's one of my favoriteest topics, but I do have to say there's a lot of creepy stuff. Sometimes is it like a random person? Is it a folklore story that created the cryptid? Like, did somebody make up a story and then everybody else believed it so much that it came into existence? That's 100% possible, because you get into that tulpa or that thought form, and there's a bunch of other words for thought forms too.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's when you get into that realm for cryptids too. So I don't know. I just figured I'd add that in there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a great point to bring up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, because we've already covered the fact that a topa can be a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very real because we've dealt with it.
Yep.
And another thing is depending on, not jumping back to demons and stuff, but we've already seen that they can manipulate and turn into anything they want to.
Yep.
I mean, if he can change from, a 7 foot tall humongous being to a tiny little girl running through a room,
A 9-year-old
that
little
it
girl.
that it can change into any type of animal it wanted
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I had one shapeshift look manipulated looking like my fiance.
A mimic.
Yeah, the mimic. And it was at the foot of my bed, and it was just a silhouette of my fiance. And
Oh wow!
I actually was talking to it like I was talking to my fiance, and I got out of bed to go to the restroom. And this is in the middle of the night, and she, for some reason, wasn't budging. She just stood there and not moving. Go to the restroom. Someone's in the restroom. It's my fiance. Who was I talking to in the room? And it wasn't there no more.
Oh
Yep.
wow!
And it was
Wow.
there like solid. I saw it not even transparent. It was like literally, it looked solid. It was so dark. It was blacker than black, of a silhouette shaped as her.
I've had that
And
happen on numerous occasions with me. And
yeah,
it could be because I was sensitive, but like when I lived with my great grandmother, she had cancer, right? And I was sleeping in late one day and she would come in my room and piddle around. She was a very cleanly woman. She had to have things in there. She was a Virgo. She had to have things in their place. Things had to be clean, right? She was on
Right.
top of it, even when she had cancer, bless her heart, dead in the middle of it. And I thought she came into my room and opened my door because I saw, like, I was so sleepy, but I saw her. It looked like her, but it had its arms like this and it was just hunched over and it was walking like this. And now, no, understanding like all this kind of stuff, it makes me wonder if my grandmother did have a thought form kind of mimicky thing. But my door was open and everything, and I had it shut, and she said she didn't come in there. That was like one of my very first experiences with a mimic or like a thought form type energy. And then even here and other places, like I know one time me and my youngest daughter were in one of the my son's bedroom, and my fiance, had went to the store, and I heard the car come up the driveway. I heard it park, the door shut, the back door open. Okay. And I heard him go, Ivy, like that. And I'm like,
oh,
oh, daddy's home. And it sounded just like he had went to the store, come home and had her a snack. You know, she was like 2 or 3 years old. So of course I send my daughter to her father that's probably got a nice little treat for her. She's so excited. She comes back in that room and she's like, daddy's not here. She heard it too.
Mm. Oh yeah.
or have you had this happen to you? I've had this happen many times, especially when I was a kid, when me and my brother were kids, and I would be talking to my brother while I'm like half asleep, and I'm here, he's responding to me, and I'm talking, and I'm kind of like cross between asleep and awake, but I'm
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
mostly awake, you know what I mean? And I'm talking to him like, and I'm like trying to go back to sleep, and then I went to go look over at him, and no one's in the room. Who it's on, like this spirit took my brother's voice and was having an interactive conversation with me in the room.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
who the
That's
heck was that? And that
crazy.
gave me goosebumps everywhere when I woke up, and I just wanted to get out of that room for a little bit.
I have
Yeah.
experiences like that. I mean, it continues like every once in a while. I'll hear my son talk every once in a while, but see, I have like 2 teenagers and a young child, and then I'm intuitive. I know for a fact my fiance's, and we're all very much in tune, right? So things are coming
Yeah.
and going. At the
Yeah.
top of the road, not the road I live on, but less than like 1,200 feet from my house, used to be a nursing home, and they flattened it, and it's gone now. now. And so I'd say at least 1,000 people or more have passed away on the land, not even 2 football fields, basically away from my house.
Oh,
So
wow.
a lot of things are coming and going, coming and going. So I'll walk past my kids' room sometime, like their door's a little bit further back on the hallway than mine, but I can still see out of my peripheral. Sometimes I'll see like my daughter sitting there, like in the corner of my eye. And this hasn't happened recently, thankfully, because I've been working on it.
Yeah.
She'd be sitting in the living room, or I'd hear my son's voice, or they will hear me, and that's happened over time. And that's just something like when you deal and you work with the paranormal and the supernatural and you're open, and just all of us, we all are going to attract things sometimes. And it's nothing,
Yeah.
people may ask, well, y'all clear out houses for a living. Why is your house? Well, guess what? Okay. They still come to us, and
Yeah.
it's sometimes harder to see your own situation than it is somebody else's. So bear
Yeah.
that in mind, and that's the biggest thing, mimics and all that kind of stuff, and that's where spirit's really been talking to me. And I've been making this like correlation between like us creating our own reality and the thought forms and the paranormal and stuff like that. I feel like I'm getting on the verge of some more answers and broadening my perspective, because some people, like, I do understand the fact that, demons can shapeshift and morph. There are 100% things out there with their own
Yeah.
consciousness that never walked, never breathed, or from another realm, another dimension. But I'm just starting to wonder, how much of this stuff have we created ourselves as humans?
That's what I think too. I
Yeah.
wonder
Yeah.
that myself.
And
Especially
yeah,
with how the world is in this day and time.
yeah, definitely. Before we get too late into this, I'm throwing in the last topic right now, because we have already covered this other topic, which was why would a spirit want to use a object as a vessel. So if anybody missed that, you can rewatch it. And towards the first half, I do discuss that. But I would like to bring up this really interesting topic: astral abductions. It's something that I've been wanting to bring up. It hasn't been brought up enough. So, for example, astral abductions, when people think abduction from, say, an alien ET or EVE, when you are abducted, people immediately think physically your body being beamed up or taken out of your bed, right? Or beamed by a UFO into a ship and taken away out of the solar system. So this could also happen to your star body, or other words, astral body. Our bodies are made up in multiple bodies, physical and spirit body. So our astral body can get kidnapped by negative ET groups and be brought into whatever realm that they are in, and beam you that way, and disrupt you spiritually, send you on a wrong path. They may even be using you as a source of food for your adrenal energy. And they could track you and do this and send you bad signals and send you all sorts of really bad stuff that is just basically disrupt your life and just watch you crumble.
Yeah.
Now there's also on the positive side of these astral abductions, where it's not an abduction, it's more of a visit. And they give you knowledge, they brief you with knowledge, they give you intuitive upgrades, or just even visit people, and maybe they've had some type of medical problem. All of a sudden, that medical problem is starting to get better.
Yeah.
And not just ET groups that do this, but also angelic high frequency groups and stuff. And what
Yeah.
people need to understand is that these ET groups that are very high frequency, the ones that are really good, actually work with these angelic groups as well. And so the reason why I love bringing this up is because I've actually experienced astral abduction in a positive and negative way. Um, and I've shared that with some of my old lives back in 2022 about some of those, if you want to check those out. But I don't have a lot of time to discuss all that. But one thing I'll brief on experience that I had, which is the most recent, which was back in 2022, was the one that I think I brought this up on my past life reading with Emily, and I was talking about how I was in this realm in a dream or astral projection that I was experiencing, and this dream got altered into something negative, almost like flipping a book and I'm on another page out of nowhere, you know, and in
Yeah.
this experience. And I start seeing these tall gray beings that are like 9 foot tall coming at me, three of them really quickly through these trees in the darkness, and they're coming at me. And then I kind of wake up from the shock of it because I wanted to start like fighting them off. And I woke up and my arm was like numb. I guess I slept like this, and my arm was numb and I could barely lift it. And then I was trying to get the feeling back in my arm. And then when I was trying to get the feeling back, I was trying to go back to sleep because I was tired. And just as I closed my eyes the first time, I saw them, those same entities that were in that experience. I saw them with my eyes closed, and they were doing stuff to me like they were working on me. And I seen their
Oh,
long,
wow.
so like skinny, long arms, like they were working on me. And then I'd open my eyes and they're not there. But then I close my eyes and they're there. There's two of them behind one of them, and like that's observing his work. Like, and so, and you'll learn about this about myself on some other live that if you actually watch my past life reading on the fine art medium Emily, you'll start to learn a lot more about me on that, with how like the starseed part of me. So I have this ability of causing this bright light surrounding my body. All I have to do is envision it and feel it, manifest it, and I actually feel my skin get warm. I can't see this with my own eyes, but I could see it based on the sense that it's surrounding me. And yeah, and then I use that, and all of a sudden they just dissolve away from me, and they were gone. So whatever they were doing, they were trying to not allow me to finish this vision I was having.
Yeah.
And
It's
that
so
makes me,
weird. It's so
yeah,
weird. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do just want to add this very fast.
yeah.
The same thing you said about how you opened your eyes or closed your eyes and it was there, and then when you opened them, it wasn't type thing. That's exactly how it was for me when I was pulled into the astral realm for the first time, the day that I got saved at church, and I saw a man that looked like Jesus, which I personally believe was Jesus, with a ball of light over him. I saw the light first. I come up out of my body, and I was in between that state, but I was still fully conscious. Like if somebody said something in the room, I could have opened my eyes, turned and looked at them and responded. Like I was at that point. But I swear when I say that I had that vision, and yeah, like I saw it, it scared me. I opened my eyes basically in the spirit for the first time, and that's that realm. I was taken to another realm of being in that room with a higher ascended being.
Yeah.
So I find that very interesting because I was 12 years old. I had never done anything to alter my, consciousness. I was pure of heart, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's just fascinating. That's an interesting correlation.
It is, and and
Yeah.
it's when you look
Very
at
interesting.
when you look at this through like the experiences of astral abduction, the physical abduction is, you got people getting implants like mysteriously showing up in them, and that have to get surgically removed, and they got these weird looking these pebble looking things that people have found in their toes and like the sides of their heads, and don't know how they arrived there, or deep in their scalp, or
Yeah,
some weird
they
places.
analyzed it, and it's like nothing on the periodical table. So,
Yeah, like the minerals, the compounds, and the metals aren't terrestrial from our planet,
Yeah.
and it'll just baffle a bunch of doctors and scientists. They're like, "How is this in you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's like, where did it come from?
right. And what these are, I think some of these chips were tags, kind of like tagging an animal, and tracking.
basically, yeah, because it tells
Yeah.
whatever planet or where you
Yeah.
are,
Crazy, isn't it?
your
Yeah,
vital
it's
probably
crazy.
or whatever it needs.
Yeah. So, I'm open for questions if you are, Chastity, with the viewers.
Yeah, if y'all want to, I mean, I'll just read. I know we got 12 people in the chat. Thank y'all for being here. I've been trying to keep up with the chat. First and foremost, Living Amongst Souls Paranormal come in and said hi, Duran. Hi, Charles. Wonderlust has been here the whole time. Says hi, Ryan. Thanks for joining. We got Alex. Hey, bro. We got Lisa. We've got, let's see, Shelly was in. I just want to shout out everybody that's been in the chat. Let's see. I'm trying to see if anybody. Oh, and Damien, I believe he's a new subscriber. He's super happy he found us. He wanted to. He's like, he has tons of stories. He said he would be willing to share. I just gave him my my Lights at Midnight Gmail and told him I'll talk to you, Duran, about that later. If you want to do any type of interviewing and stuff, we can work that out. I just so I can get his information for you. And then let's see, Living Amongst Souls Paranormal. So, and everybody else that's watching, thank you. We super appreciate it. This is our first like collective live. I do go live with these guys over here every other week, and Duran goes live occasionally, but not often. But it seems like you're going to be doing more lives often, right?
Yeah, definitely. I want to.
We're working on that. We try to get it
Yeah,
flying.
Gotta get her done.
And
You can
the whole
count
mic
us in.
situation. We a mic is definitely up. I have several mics. Like some of them are pretty expensive. Like I'm investing $200 mics, but aren't compatible for my phone, and they're more compatible for actual like DSLR cameras, and they work with specific type of cameras though. But I need to get a proper mic, and that's what I need to invest in. Look into.
I think you have a good mic there. I don't know what happened. We heard you loud and clear, and it went away.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that explains probably. Well, that's normal.
What happened?
So that's probably
normal.
what.
It's normal for him to have electronical interferences all the time.
All the time. They like to mess around.
Damn dog.
And as you could tell, I was getting sweaty, like because it knows it's playing a game, and that's why I kind of was laughing a bit and just kind of like it's playing a game right now, and it was messing with Chastity probably too.
It's really weird, and I was sitting here thinking, now, what could have caused it? Because all of a sudden we heard you loud and clear, and then maybe 3 minutes went by, and you did nothing, and your sound was gone.
Yeah.
Now there is a setting. I will say this: we can, if you're on your phone, Duran, if you hit the more and you go to settings and you hit audio, you can turn off echo cancellation, and then you can turn on or off automatic adjust mic volume, and that might help. So you can do that while you're live, like before we get off or something, just to make sure. I would turn off that echo cancellation because it has caused me so many problems with this.
Yeah, I saw that feature. I can't remember if I clicked on it or not, but I have it set to default.
Yeah.
Whatever it basically defaulted me as, what I got it set. This is actually my first time hosting StreamYard, so
it's a pretty cool little gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
It gets it done.
Oh yeah. Oh, no problem, Ryan. I'm glad you are watching and actually spending the time to listen with us.
Yeah. Oh, and question wise, I'm looking back through, and the only question that I can see, can't wait. So Damien said a while back, can't wait. I have come across a gem here. I have many stories I'd love to share that have happened in my life. And that's when I told him, to send an email, and then I'll get with you, Duran, about that and see what you want to do. But Shelly E asked what is the best way to deal with an object you suspect is haunted? Question out of curiosity. Thankfully, I'm not in possession of a haunted object. And guys, if anybody has any questions they want to ask, it doesn't have to be about haunted objects. I mean, we can all give our opinions, or we can, we're all pretty much kind of know a lot about the paranormal in just different ways.
Oh, I love hearing other people's aspects about it. It's pretty interesting because we all learn a little bit from each other because it kind of correlates. Sometimes there's a lot of similarities to some of the experiences or aspects, that have some similarities that connect. And it's interesting, you know. I really like
Yeah.
hearing everybody's opinion.
Well, yeah, that's why it's good that we all met and
Yeah,
talk like this.
yeah,
And with today's technology, you know, it allows a bigger platforms, you
Mhm.
know, because if we didn't have our technology, I don't think any of us would be talking.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this
The,
is like a given right here. This is the sweet
Yeah.
spot, the collective.
Yeah, it's such a really good opportunity to be able to even do this. And, you know, looking back, like, you know, 5 years ago, I didn't think that I was really going to be stepping into these grounds where I was going to be like in front of a live camera and talking with an audience, publicly speaking about this kind of knowledge. You know, I've always kind of like dreamed about doing something like this. And, you know, at some certain point, it just it hit me where something made me feel like I need to do this with
hmm
purpose, and I just felt guided of what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I just I that's when I started really learning and understanding intuition and how like that works. And just the more I do this, the more I start understanding it more and just grasping every grain at a time. And
Yeah.
like myself, I take things a grain of salt at a time too, of everything I've learned. Like I said, I don't know all this stuff overnight. It's a lot.
Well,
It's
the
a
world,
journey for sure.
Yeah. And you know, as far as Damien, as far as taking care of an object that you may have, uh, there's so much I could tell you about that. Now, one of the main things is care for the object. So you want to take care of it, regardless if it's good or bad. You want to do as less contact with it. So you don't want to put like constantly be handling this object. Even as an owner, I don't handle my objects very often by hand. I do if I have to move them. And when I move them, I do kind of let them know that I need to move them somewhere else, and I'm going to be very cautious with it. Um, so and then there's the keeping the objects protected. So when you protect an object, so say like if you want to use some grounding salt or something, like Himalayan salt is a good grounding property because it's a pure mineral to the earth. So salt is really a good grounding source for protecting the object. I use like things like selenite and give it uh, that high frequency energy. Give it some good energy. Rose quartz is good, some love energy. Give that thing some love. You know, you want stuff that is really gonna help ground it too. So I use a lot of grounding stuff, like I said. So salt, grounding stones. I got amethyst over here. I got some absorbing stones to keep it from breaking out to a certain. Uh, so I create a grid. So
Great ideas. Yeah.
so creating a grid with say, let's keep it simple: selenite and black tourmaline. That is a good grid right there. Because you got the high frequency, you got the negative energy blocker and absorber. So I have black tourmaline laced in a bag. Well, I got the bag laced to the knob of this door right here. So it's got a barrier, so there is a grid that it can't go past because these entities they're surrounding the object and they could leave the object whenever they want. So they're
Yeah.
not tied down to the object, they're not trapped in the object. They could go anywhere they want. And you don't want them to roam too often because they could cause a lot of havoc in your home and make your life uncomfortable. They could make you sick too if you have something negative or malice and cause all sorts of intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And you know that's when things get dangerous. So grounding, look into grounding stones. A good book right here. How I started learning about crystals real fast. I recommend this. This will tell you everything quick to make it simple, and they break it down in terms where it's easy for you to understand too, especially for people that are new with crystals
I can't see it. It's too small.
and have haunted objects in their life or suspect a haunted object.
Mm-hmm.
get that object grounded and protected. And when you protect it, you're not doing it in a threatful way. You're saying, I'm going to protect you from people and protect people from you. So we're
Yeah.
going to protect each other. And then you're giving it its space. This is your space. This is my space. And you start to get this understanding ground. And also you want to put that intention. Intention's a big thing. So you
Yeah.
want your intention into this. So,
That's a lot.
I-
It's a lot to own haunted objects. And if you're not comfortable owning a haunted object, there are places around America and people like Duran that will take it. But, you know, it's not something you definitely want to just go throw away in the trash because it can end up pretty bad.
No,
It's
Yeah.
something that has to be taken care of, and finding somebody that can manage it or give you some, you know, guidance is the most important for a haunted object. You know,
That's
Duran takes very
true.
good care of it. I have a haunted mirror, okay, but I won't give it up. I haven't done an investigation with it. It's just there. That mirror causes like depression, sadness, switching of feelings and stuff. And the Living Amongst Souls Paranormal says, how can one of the doll vessels attack a person or interfere basically with the person? A lot of ways. A lot of times you'll notice like if you don't have somebody in the home that has an attachment to the object, meaning like they really put a lot of love into it, if it's not that type of object, like a doll or something like a figurine somebody really likes, sometimes it's furniture and stuff like that. It can come in many different forms, but a lot of times you'll start having like things go missing in your house. You can have things like teleport. You'll have a lot of electronical interferences. In terms, it's kind of the long but slow game with haunted objects. Sometimes it's faster. It messes with your perception. It can mess with your emotions. It finds your triggers, your trauma. Anything paranormal, 95 or more percent of the time, anything paranormal has something to do with trauma. So if you bring an object that's haunted into your home, because it's different than going to a place and hunting ghosts or anything like that. You bring an
Yeah.
object in your home that has a lot of energy. Sometimes it can be just residual energy from the person that owned it, where they
Yeah.
shedded a lot of energy, which is the new kind of term I'm trying to use to describe it, of certain things. People can shed their energy and people can be attached to haunted objects. That's something I don't know if I was here for you when you talked about that, but people themselves or a facet of that individual's energy can be attached to haunted objects, and it can affect you the way that that person's energy was. Or if it's more on the darker side, then it can, you know, cause accidents, injuries, and that's on the heavier end of stuff. But it kind of creeps into the mind. It's the slow game, and there's so many different levels to haunted objects, and that's going to be my goal for my haunted objects series on my channel, is to kind of take a deep dive into those kind of different levels, and then I'm going to talk about my experiences, and then I'll be able to show y'all the stuff with Duran, because he's the local expert around here for haunted objects. But I figured
yeah.
unless you have something you want to add to that down south, which I know, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
it's,
definitely. Oh,
yeah, I don't know if you have anything you want to add about it, because I mean
I
they're
would,
similar.
I would just say, and this is a little bit of common sense to
mhm.
me. So naturally, and I'm not sure the question, does a person think they may have a haunted object, or they're curious about it? The first thing I would say is, hey, go with your gut instinct.
Yeah,
So already by
important.
bringing that up and thinking about it, that object is working in your mind. Okay, it's getting mental. So pass that thing on to somebody else who knows how to control it, and
Yeah,
get it, move it on, get it out of
yes,
your life.
Yeah.
you're
Because
right, Greg.
just the fact you're thinking about it, it's already starting to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And if it's not even haunted, you can make it haunted through thinking too much
Exactly.
about it. And not
Yeah.
like, and it wouldn't be super bad, but there's just different levels. There's just so much.
Yeah.
yeah. And one thing, I'm sorry to kind of change it a little bit, but earlier, when I think it was like the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I kept getting fogged up.
Mm,
That's something that haunted objects love doing, is fog up your thoughts. It's because they're trying to intrude, and they're trying to. Uh, it's almost like walking to a room, and so many people are talking, you don't know what's going on, and you just lost,
Yeah.
and you can't even think. You can't even think of your own thoughts because there's too much going on. Even though I don't hear it, they're fogging my thoughts because I don't know what to do next or what to speak next because I'm getting so much interference, and
Yeah.
that's them basically signaling me they're trying to like get in the action of what we're doing. They're trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you know what I saw in my mind's eye when you started talking about fog, and I mean I'm not, could just be a thought, but it's come in a vision form. I saw spider webs.
Oh, that yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the spiders. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
so
ain't scared of much, but I don't do spiders.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
You kind
so
of got a thing with
I
spiders too,
definitely
don't you?
Yeah. I don't really like spiders.
so
Especially black widows.
yeah, you know, when I was reviewing Lane the second night we were there,
Mhm.
and when I'm looking through the IR footage and I zoom in on the REM pod and the grass and stuff, and I'm looking at the EM pump on the tree, and I'm looking at the bark, like I'm looking at everything in detail, and I'm just looking at all, like if we were to just lean on that tree, we'd be covered in ants, we'd be covered in spiders. I mean, I'm like, dang, Lane is, you don't want to mess with nature out there. Be careful if you
Yeah.
guys ever go visit Lane, be careful where you're standing at, be careful what you're touching, because
Yeah.
everything's alive out there. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, literally,
And it's aggressive.
the trees, I got a face on the tree. The trees are literally, they know what you're doing, and they are watching. And I've caught a face on that tree even showing,
yeah,
that light. Just a reminder that nature is watching, and those elementals are in full gear out there.
yeah. That
Yeah.
place is nuts. And if I ever get to come out, which is not, I'm not going to say that. When I get to come to the West Coast, I definitely want to try to visit. So I'm going to plan it out because when I come out there, I want to stay for a couple weeks because I have several people I need to go see in different areas. But Lisa come through and said, "So can a thought form attach itself to an object or not?"
Yeah,
I mean, Lisa, that's a
100%.
good question.
Yes, if people that collect an item and like say you pick it up at a secondhand store, and not everything at a secondhand store is going to be haunted. Um,
Yeah.
your better chances of finding a haunted object, yes, at a secondhand store, but just because
Yeah.
they create that thought that this item looks scary, I want it because it probably has a ghost attached to it or a demon, and that's going to be wild to collect that. So they get this obsession of collecting these objects, and then they start to think that there really is something there. They think about it so much, they want to believe it so much that they've created this entity by thought, because as co-creators, we can do that. And if you think about something enough, it is going to create its own consciousness.
Yeah.
And that is power of us manifesting things.
Yep.
So you could do that with an object, and then that you can create these things that are not demons, but they're thought formed entities. And
And
it's pretty crazy.
I'm going to reply to what that point you just made
Hmm.
about that thought form spirit.
Hmm.
Every thought form spirit that I've ever heard of
Hmm.
or heard of people talking about has been known to be a negative thought form spirit
Yeah.
because it has never ever walked on planet Earth or had any kind of existence of being a human being.
You're right.
So
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
pretty much taken on its own path of basically trying to learn how to live. And
yeah.
Yeah, and it gets fed so much, and I think prayers and intentions turn into like actions and somewhat similar, but not what we're talking about, thought form actions. But you're right. When it comes to negative, like negative stuff, it gets fed continually until it's able to get up enough energy to make its own decisions. Or if somebody creates like a tulpa, it has a directive. And once that person is no longer there to direct that, then it just goes off and does its own thing. And
Yeah.
it's like a product of its environment, really.
Yeah.
So,
Branches off on its own, and
yeah.
that's
You got-
when things can become negative.
Yeah.
Yes. You got, Hollywood horror movies. They promote that to, create that thought form.
Yeah.
Thought form entities. They'll do that a lot.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, and
Let's see.
there's a situation over at Darlene that I remembered that I've learned from, and I think there was a lot of problems with vehicle problems, and I think that was connected with that.
Yeah.
So I learned this from also other paranormal shows. I've seen this happen on several shows where they hear this whistle sound manifest, a disembodied whistle, and something negative or bad happens. And I captured someone whistling
Yeah.
during the investigation, and I'm looking at one of the cameras that's actually happening at the same time that the EVP recorder is going, those same time frames, and no one's whistling, and no one was out there for miles.
That's
Like,
crazy.
yeah, and there's a clear whistle.
It's a male.
Yeah,
It's a man.
yeah. And
Were you getting a man on the EVP or on the voice thingy?
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when you said speak
Yeah.
into the
We did.
or get next to a REM pod and use the EMF pump, and
Mhm.
it goes. We're learning.
Yeah, because I said you could use this because I was asking if they could speak, if they could to come to the speaker, and I said I got you this EM pump. It's generating electromagnetic energy. Can you use that to help you
Mm.
speak to us? And then it said we're learning. That's the immediate response they gave me.
That's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
looked
that's
at it,
that's
we're learning.
actually an intelligent response.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's exactly
It goes, we're learning.
we really
like
knew that
that.
there's so much intelligence at Darlene because
Yeah,
it's
you were speaking with an intelligent spirit.
100%. Because I'm getting like this weird crawly feeling in the side of my head, almost like something moved through my head. Oh, it's not an aneurysm. I'm getting ready to fall out or something.
Yeah,
That felt really weird. No, but, huh?
I hope you ain't about to go belly
I know.
up
If I
on
am, I'm going out in the best way. I'm sorry if it's traumatizing, but I'll be on the other side. I'll be home. Come back to home. All y'all.
It's probably those spiders.
Yeah, Cassidy.
Yeah,
Darlene.
those spiders are coming to get you, Chastity.
It's Darlene can be very heavy, but it also could be very it's Darlene, you feel like you're getting pulled in multiple directions
It's like
because
a super duper portal acts everywhere, like depending on the side of street you on.
yeah, exactly. And also it's trippy when you're out there at night and you look at both sides of the street, they look like the same. Like you ever watch the movie The Labyrinth and she's looking down the labyrinth, like the halls, and you look the other way and they look exactly the same. So it's icky, you get disoriented, you get pulled from different directions. There's energies coming from here, energies coming from there. You're seeing shadows walking in the fields. You're getting voice. It's like, it's wild out there.
I want to go. Now, look, why am I getting the feeling of
You
like
want to
being
take me
like,
with, Chastity?
huh?
You want to take me with you?
We can do it. We can do it.
I'm
I don't
game.
fly though. I want to drive.
Oh,
If you want to meet me, if you want to fly out there and meet me out there, I'm sure Duran would take us if you wanted to do that when I go.
No, I don't want to fly.
come
My
on.
feet
I ain't
don't
flying
leave the
either.
ground.
I'm driving.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mount Shasta.
I ride with.
Shasta.
Okay.
Gotta go to Mount
We need a
Shasta.
minivan. When I get my minivan or a mini bus, I'm telling you right now, I'm manifesting this, y'all. I got a long way to go. Look, I got a long way to go. But I believe in miracles. I'm getting a van or some type of something and something I can fit my family in, and I am gone.
I'm gonna have an RV for down south.
That's what y'all
All right.
need.
All right, everybody. I have to depart because I have to get ready for my work endeavors
I
tomorrow.
understand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
Same
was
here.
so
I'm getting
nice
ready to have to hop off here myself.
I
Yeah.
reckon so.
And if you guys could ever make it out, or maybe if we possible, me and Duran might come to y'all one day.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That
We
would
need to
be awesome.
let's
Yeah.
meet in the
I
middle.
was thinking the
Oh,
same
yeah,
thing. We'll meet in the middle.
dinner.
Yeah.
Kansas
There
City.
you go.
I think Kansas has that, but anyways, I'm sorry. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I'm sure we'll meet again sometime.
Yeah, of course, of course. We got to do this more often and
Mhm.
get as many other people to chime in as we can.
Sure.
That
Absolutely.
sounds like a great idea.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Sally
you.
House, Kansas,
Yeah. A Sally House would be cool.
Kansas.
I've
Oh
heard of that.
yeah, Dylan and me were
Oh,
Dylan and me were
Thank you.
talking about it.
All right.
All right, everybody. I'll see y'all
Take
later.
care.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
But yeah, I'll say this because I know I've got to wrap up too, and I know you've got to go make donuts at 4:20 in the morning. Bless your heart.
Yeah, I'm looking at about what is it, 12:40?
You
Yeah,
got 3 hours, buddy.
I got 3 hours of sleep.
you got
That's
3
nice.
hours of beauty rest.
That won't be enough.
No, you're gonna have to call in your backup to come make some donuts. You got a backup?
Yeah, we'll get them.
Good.
We'll
Yeah,
get them. I might just be taking a nap tomorrow afternoon earlier than suspected.
Yeah, you're gonna need it for Saturday.
Oh gosh, don't remind me.
Are
yeah,
y'all driving up that morning?
Yeah.
yeah.
Bless your heart. It ain't too bad, but I mean it's an hour from where I'm at to there. I'm going to spend the night with my sister, so she's kind of halfway. And but yeah, there was a tornado actually, literally at my brother's house today, and my sister and everything. There was something right down the road. Like this live almost didn't happen for me because we were under tornado watch. And lo and behold, it'd be the first time I go live with Duran that there'd be a tornado warning because there's
Yeah.
always something.
The interesting thing about that, and I was just telling Sophia about this, is that every time I go live, or well, not live, but this is the first time I went live actually with Chastity. But every time I do a collaboration with Chast, something strange happens to try to intervene and kind of stop the collaboration from happening.
That's
Too
fun.
much energy.
It's very it's interesting the coincidence and timing of certain things that happen. It's really trippy, and it's always the reminder too, like what the stuff that we're dealing with,
Yeah. Sounds
so,
like you got a lot of mojo in that room where you're at.
Yeah.
it's a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
It starts to become second nature over time, and but even then, no one's invincible.
Yeah.
There's always something that is always going to create an obstacle that is going to kind of create some type of distress or some type of complication in your life, and you got to kind of do the work to overcome it and win that yourself. You got to do the work, and that's part of my job basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to face those kind of situations sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even as a paranormal investigator alone, you have to face those kind of situations in life because
Yeah.
sometimes you'll wreck stuff back with you, and then you have to face the music with what you brought.
Absolutely. It's something, and that's part of the things that we take on. We take on that risk of payback or repercussions, and that becomes few and far between for me these days. But does it still happen? Yes. It's nothing like it was because, I was learning and still learning how to protect myself and stuff like that. But can things catch me off guard? Yes. Have things happen? Like if it can't get me, if something's like super pissed at me and it can't get me, it'll try to attack one of my family members.
Oh,
I've had
wow.
that happen before,
Yeah.
and then people have got upset with me, and I understand why. But I make
Wow.
sure now if I have a big case, I tell people in my family and everybody, like, look, this is a big case. It's super serious. I need you to accept prayer. I need you. They know what I do now, and they understand that it's for a higher purpose and a higher good. But I still have to let them know sometimes because, like, I've helped somebody 30 minutes later. My fiance had a box of OxyClean bust in his eyes, like randomly, and he
Oh,
had to go to the emergency room.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say things can get very sticky or even very dangerous to where it becomes life threatening in some situations. It gets bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to wrap it up here too because these guys over here. You already know Duran, but just in case anybody listening don't, we have an event and he has to work and stuff this morning, but we have an event Saturday. I finally get to meet these guys Saturday, and Greg's been awesome. He's helping me out with my banner. I shout out
That's,
to
What
Greg,
about
you're a
me?
lifesaver.
that's cool.
You're a lightsaber. You're a lifesaver. And everything, but it's going to be in Hamptonville, North Carolina. It's April 13th at 10 a.m. Tickets are $15 at the door. It is a Parafest. And then they're doing like the big, I think it's $150 for the VIP, but you get dinner and you get to investigate that place. I would like to thank Duran for hosting this event or this live tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we do. We thank you for the invite, Duran.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys.
And we really look forward to possibly coming back soon.
Yeah, do you guys see why is that happening? Did you see that
I
bright?
don't know. I've seen it happen. It's
Yeah,
getting
I see it
lighter, and
too.
this the
Yeah,
energetic interference.
Yeah.
that's
Oh my
wild.
God. Okay. I guess it's something that's trying to signal goodbye, maybe.
Look, it
Yeah,
did again.
Yeah, it did.
yeah, I saw it.
Are you telling us goodbye?
Yeah, I
It
believe
did it
so.
again. It's doing it.
Wait.
Look at this.
Wow.
Look at this. Here.
Yeah, this dude's hair standing up on his arms. So y'all got something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're a long ways from you, Duran.
Yeah.
3,000 miles or more, or right about.
That's
Yeah.
really amazing. Look at that. Wow.
It's getting bright in here.
Somebody's shining headlights in your window.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's bright, isn't it?
Can you
Yeah.
see my
That's the
face
response.
anymore?
So
There we go.
there's a spirit there. Let's see if I might stay on for just another minute or two. Let me see if I can pull in anything from that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get my book.
I'm gonna fix my angle real quick since it's just
Yeah.
me.
So we'll see if it'll do it again just to make
Yeah.
sure, but it's already done it on command. Let's see. Is there anybody there with him? I'm tapping into your room right now, Duran, because I've already like kind of tapped there once before. When we talked that last time.
Yeah.
It's not cold right here next to me.
Mhm.
Y'all let me know. I'm not looking. Let me know if it does it.
My hands are clammy, and that's usually a sign right there. That clamminess. When I start to get that clammy feeling in my hands, it's a huge sign of a presence of some of these familiar entities. I get
So
familiar
what I'm
stuff.
seeing is more like an energy than like a form, but it feels masculine again. But I don't think it's not the same man that I saw standing beside of you in our video, and I don't want to spoil it for our viewers. But is it doing it again? Do that again.
Yeah.
Well,
Is it your movement?
But why would it do that though? That's so
I don't
weird.
know, but I'm not
It's
I'm
doing
not
it.
really getting like a form.
He
I'm
won't
not
do
really
it.
getting
Look
But
like
at that
he
a
blue.
won't move his hand when
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
you're right. You were not
it
moving
might be
your
your
hand
light
earlier.
because I'm not really getting a form. I'm only getting the energy. Like when I say I was getting the energy, I just feel energy in there. I'm not getting like a man or a woman. The energy feels like a masculine energy, but it's
Yeah.
not like it's not a form. It's just energy. So that
Yeah.
might just be your light then because I'm not seeing anything. Like I see like
Really.
again a masculine type present energy, but not a form.
Well, I definitely feel something kind of behind me because I get that clamminess in my hands, and then I
Right.
could feel it on my shoulders, and that's so typical for this. But I was feeling that off and
It's
on for
not
a long
doing it now.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what's
and
interesting. And be,
Now I'm getting
before we
hot.
jump, be, yeah, see, before we jump off here, I'd like to actually, um, you know, let you guys know I'm definitely open to schedule out another live so we could discuss that on maybe a DM,
Yeah,
uh,
sure.
yeah,
schedule another live another time, because I would like to do another podcast with you guys doing some interesting other topics. And I would like to give people kind of a little sneak peek of that. And I'm going to add more to this, but I'm going to let people know a couple of topics that I would like to discuss: demonic agenda and the deep state.
Good
So
topic.
we got, I have occulted information and secret societies.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of those kind of things will correlate to a lot of stuff we discussed earlier. And one of those
yeah,
topics was adrenochrome. And
All the
uh,
visions I
yeah,
just got, it was like super fast flashes of like blood and symbols and people wearing animal horns, and it was like
oh
pow,
yeah,
pow, 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 pow.
oh yeah.
Why would you tell me that? Because now I'm gonna dream about it.
Oh Lord, you'll be all right.
If I do, I'm gonna kick you in the knee when
He's
I
threatening to
see
whoop me. He's gonna see me. I'm gonna walk up and shake his hand. He's gonna kick me right in the ass.
you. Yeah, just remember, I warned you.
I'm running. You might catch me though. I'm pretty slow.
I don't
So,
run. Sorry.
I can't run either, hardly. But yeah, Duran, that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that
no,
that
well,
freaked me out. That flash of vision I got.
I bet it's a disturbing subject, but I think it's definitely something that will red pill a lot of people with that
Yeah,
information because it's something that does need to be brought to awareness because it affects our societies in really negative ways. And um, some of the things that it's it gets it's one of those subjects where some people don't want it to be true because it's so awful, but sometimes when you really look into it, fact can be more frightening than fiction. And sometimes,
yeah,
you need to know about this kind of stuff because it is happening. And it's like what people say, what can I do as an individual to stop that from happening? Well, there's not much you can do as one individual, but it's the awareness. It's as long as more people know about it, the more this stuff could be more revoked from actually being something that happened. And some of the stuff really does happen, and it's done in very horrific ways where people really don't want to know about. And I obviously, like, when I start discussing this type of subject, I do I am careful with my words, with how, like, what I word, because some of the stuff is very graphic to talk about. Um,
Yeah.
but there's certain terminologies that I will use appropriately um, to discuss this matter. But it's uh, you'll get the picture of basically what I'll be discussing, and it's a
There's
good.
magic around it.
Yes.
There's magic around this subject because obvious reasons, but there's protective walls and magic around the subject, and it can trigger certain things when you
Yeah.
talk about it. I know that sounds crazy, but
Mhm. Uh, yeah, it's absolutely So the subject is interesting to get into, but it's like even me get like when I look into this stuff and research into it, some of the stuff is so heinous and awful to just know that that it happens. But as part of an agenda of uh, you talk when you start to getting into deep state, adrenochrome, and the occult part about the deep state of what they use the occult for is awful. And
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be a very interesting subject, and that's something I might have to tiptoe around because some of those things I probably wouldn't talk about on YouTube, and it's something me and you'll talk about that I would
Yep.
say for like a Patreon or something behind some type of wall where it's not
Yeah,
extremely public. I'm just gonna say that
exactly.
right now, but I'm open to
Okay.
that. I totally
So,
vibe with that.
yeah,
And that's something I can definitely talk to you about more 100%, but
yeah.
I look forward to it. It's going to be definitely an interesting subject. I'm willing to go down that path
And
though.
that's why when it comes to me discussing that kind of subject, I do use certain terminologies that I know that will be appropriate for me to how to discuss it. And when the way I will discuss it, people will understand the big picture of it all because it won't take much for me to kind of explain things. But I'm going to explain it in a more way where it there's I don't want to get too much away right now because it's a lot to explain, and I know we
Right.
got
Yeah. And it's a whole different
Yeah.
subject.
it is,
Well,
but in other words, though, it's one of those things that Chastity is right. It's something that is you you got to be careful with what you talk about when you talk about this kind of stuff because you can get kind of like demonetized or flagged for it.
yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
it puts a certain target on your back in
yeah.
different multitude of ways. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm rewinding back because it might have been my eyes and the light because the light ring, but I'm just rewinding back to see. I thought I saw something on down south side above your head, but it could have just been my eyes. But I
Oh wow.
guess my children are coming in here now, so I've
You
got to
saw
get
a
them to
light, didn't you?
bed.
You saw a
Okay.
Huh?
light. You saw a light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you?
I did. There's a computer turned on in there. I hadn't figured out why.
Oh.
A
Oh,
monitor come on in that room behind us. I saw it also, and I was
yeah. Something just did like this. So
yeah. There's some things happening tonight.
Dang.
no, wait a minute. It's every time I meet with this man, I have some type of electronical interferences. I swear to you, you can go back and listen to the podcast we did with him during Emily's stuff, during everything. But
It's
yeah,
so weird.
unfortunately, I've got to cut it short.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, tonight, and I
Yeah.
certainly appreciate you inviting us, and I
Yeah.
Yeah,
appreciate y'all
thank you.
being here.
Thank
Definitely
you.
good
We
discussion.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Chastity.
having us.
You're
Thank you so much.
welcome. I'll see
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
next time.
See you
All right.
next
Bye.
Good
time.
night.
Nice
Bye.
to meet you
Good.
guys.
Night.
All right. Have a great night, Chastity.
You
Bye,
too,
everyone.
dear. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Happy nightmares.